Hi, in this video, I'm going to use geometry nodes to create this tornado animation. This tornado will have basically three parts: the main body of the tornado, the base of the tornado, and the top or crown of this tornado. Let's add a curve. Let's go to the edit mode and I'll rotate this curve on y-axis by 90 degree, and I will rotate it one more time on z-axis by again 90 degrees. Shift it upwards by 1 meter, and this is how you can change the shape of the curve. And this curve is going to be the base of our tornado. Now let's go back to the object mode and click on new to create a new geometry nodes graph. And here I'm going to add curve to mesh node. And I will use curve circle for profile curve. Let's reduce the radius to 0.6 and connect spline parameter to scale. I'll also connect float curve between spline parameter and curve to mesh. And I will adjust this graph in float curve to make the top of the tornado wider than the bottom. Now let's add set position node, and to the position input I will add vector rotate. Let's use the z axis type in vector rotate and connect a position node to the vector input in this node. Let's add separate xyz node and connect the z output with a multiply node. So we are basically trying to rotate this tornado on z axis. Now let me switch to the wireframe mode, and now you should be able to see the twisting of this tornado mesh. If we increase the value of multiply node, we will get more twist in the tornado. Feel free to play with this value in the multiply node. Next I will add subdivision mesh node. So here you can see now our mesh is more dense. I'll add another set position node after subdivision. and connect a wave texture node to the offset input. Let's add vector subtract and subtract 0.5 from wave texture. This will bring the mesh back to its original position. Also, let's add a scale node between set position and subtract and reduce the value of scale to something like 0.02. Now change the value of scale in wave texture and there you go. It will give you these horizontal bumps in your tornado. This is not mandatory, but just to give some rough surface to our tornado, we can try this out. Next, I'm going to add a separate XYZ and combine XYZ nodes. Connect X and Y inputs and outputs. After that, connecting it to the wave texture. Let's add a position node to separate XYZ and the Z output of separate XYZ node will be used in this addition node and the result will be connected to the combine XYZ. So now if you change the value in the add node, these rings or bumps will move up or downwards in our tornado. So we can use this effect in our animation. So I've set a keyframe for this value in the add node at the first frame. Now at the 120th frame, I'll change its value to let's say 2 and again set a keyframe. Now if I play the animation, these bumps are moving downwards. However, I want them to move upwards. So I'm going to use minus 1.5 at the 120th frame and set it again as a keyframe. Let's play the animation. There you go. It's moving upwards. So if you want to set any keyframe on any value in your geometry nodes, just put your mouse pointer on that value and press I on your keyboard. So for that particular frame, that value will be keyframed. Let's keep it minus 1.6. After that, I'll add another set position node and connect a noise texture. Let's add subtract vector node and subtract 0.5 from noise texture. Also add a scale node. I'll change the value of scale in the noise texture. I've done this just to add some noise to the surface of tornado. Now I'll select the tornado and set a keyframe on the Z coordinates for rotation at the first frame and the 120th frame, which is the last frame. Let's play the animation and our tornado mesh will rotate like this. Let's increase the value from 720 degrees to, let's say, 1080 degrees. So now it will spin faster. Let's play the animation again. Before that, I'll also change the interpolation to linear so that the spinning speed is constant throughout the animation. Over here in this node, decrease the value to minus 3.2. Now let's add a join geometry node just before the group output. Now I will add a few more nodes to create random particles around this tornado. Now from the second last set position node, I will pull a branch and connect it to delete geometry. The output of this node, delete geometry, will be connected to join geometry. Make sure the mode in delete geometry is face, not point. Let's add a noise texture and also add a color ramp between noise texture and delete geometry. I'm using noise texture with delete geometry because it will help me in deleting random polygons or faces from the tornado mesh. I've also added transform geometry after delete geometry. Now let's change the value of x in y in scale, and there you go. We have some random particles around our tornado. They are a bit larger right now. So we can add a subdivision mesh node between set position and delete geometry. And now we have increased the resolution of these particles, and with the help of scale we can reduce their size. So now they are looking more natural. Let's play the animation, and there you go. This is the front view of our tornado. And let's say if you want to change the orientation or shape of your tornado, you can always go back to your edit mode and change the shape of your curve. Now I'll select all these nodes and put them into a group. Just select all the nodes, press F on your keyboard, and then enter a title like this, tornado particles. You can also press N on your keyboard and this menu will open up. Here you can change the color of the group. You can also change the font size of the title. And it's a good practice to keep your notes arranged and well documented. Next, I'll use the same technique to create the base of the tornado. So I'll copy all the nodes used to create the tornado particles and try to create the base from the same nodes. To copy anything in geometry nodes or Blender, press Shift D on keyboard. And I'll change the title of this group from tornado particles to tornado base and connect set position to subdivision node. And the output of transform geometry will be passed to join geometry node. I'll set the noise texture scale to 3 and change the scale coordinates. So now you can see we have a base at the bottom of the tornado, and you can use color ramp to increase or decrease the density of the base. Similarly, you can also use X and Y in scale to change the width of the base. Now similarly, I'll use the same set of nodes to create the crown of the tornado. Let's change the title and connect set position to subdivision mesh. Pass the output of transform geometry to join geometry and use the z coordinates in the translation to move the particles upwards like this. And now in the scale vector, we can increase the width of this crown. Now let's play the animation. That's pretty much it. Our tornado is ready. Now all we have to do is add some texture and colors to our tornado. And you can also reduce the subdivision levels from 2 to 1, and this will help you in running the animation smoothly because more the levels in subdivision, more computing resources Blender will use.